You're listening to the Bear in Mind podcast, episode number 68.
A podcast uncovering identity, color, and love, where driving yourself crazy is totally sane and curable. Now your host, T. Bias.
What's your health goal? Is it to lose weight? Is it to improve your gut health, reduce skin inflammation, reduce your cholesterol, high blood pressure, all of those kind of things? And you want to get started. And it can seem like there's a lot of information on the internet on how to get started. And I know that for me, with weight, I was a person that went plus 10, minus 10, plus 10, minus 10. So I was up and down within this kind of range. And so what would happen is I have my clothes that are form-fitting, that are a particular size, and then I would gain weight, and then it would slowly move to, I need to buy a new wardrobe. and I would have kind of these clothes for the in-between parts, stretchy pants, leggings, things like that. And I would get disciplined enough, do the diet, do the exercise, and I'd get back to my other clothes. And so this back and forth kind of thing went on. And I decided that I wanted to finally get a handle on my health. And I did a lot of wrong things. So I want to share with you the things kind of that I would do now because I've made some mistakes in kind of getting my health in order, keeping the weight off permanently, and then also just improving my overall health. And so kind of like the first thing that I think I did is I really was so desperate to get a control of it. I didn't want to keep going up and down. And it wasn't something that I really kind of noticed, but I noticed that, when it happened, I was like, I'm back here. I'm back at the leggings. And I want to lose this. And then I never felt like I really got a handle on some of the other health issues that were kind of going on. In particular, my big thing has been skin inflammation. And so the thing that I did is I read a bunch of stuff on the internet. And although they were decent sources and things like that, I started doing things and, kind of taking probiotics and all of these kind of things. And I think I actually ended up not permanently upsetting my gut, but making kind of the skin inflammation worse. So now I'm kind of back to what I think I needed to have done before. So here's what I would have liked to have done about a year and a half ago. So one of the things that I learned from, I can't remember where it is or if I read it in a book, but with getting a hold of your finances, that I think I was listening to a financial advisor and she said, where do you get started? And she said, start what's coming in and what's going out. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Understand where you're spending money, really understand it, and where your money is coming from, all sources of revenue. So, from your income from your job, but you can also have income from maybe, I don't know if you have money that you've inherited or something like that, and you're getting interest off of that or something like that, all sources of incomes, and really understand that. And when it came to my health, I applied that kind of same philosophy with it. And it's basically, understand what's going in and understand what's coming out. So understanding what's going in, kind of like the big advice when it comes to your health is to keep a food diary, a food journal, and you write down what you've eaten. And you keep track of this. And this is really common advice, and I agree with it, and it can be kind of frustrating for a lot of people to do this, but it is a really important thing to do. And the reason why is because it can bring so much awareness to what you're eating. And a lot of times we're not even aware. I knew I wasn't aware whenever I'd take a couple of chips, and then I'd take another couple of chips, or I'd have a cake, or a cookie, and I take another cookie or something like that. I wouldn't really pay attention to how much I was taking. So kind of getting that awareness going is really useful. And also, it kind of helps you gain perspective, because anything in your head, you're not going to gain perspective. Why? Because your head is behind your eyes, and you need your eyes to gain perspective. So it needs to come out in front of you on paper. And with writing down your food journal, it's kind of easy to beat yourself up because you have maybe in your head a health goal. And as you write it down, things come up because you see that, when you got to write down you ate one bag of Kettle sea salt chips, then, because there's not that much in it. That used to be how I used to look at it. But when you actually write down the grams of it, and that's kind of the thing about knowing what's coming in precisely, what's going into your body. And that's on two things. One is how much of it are you putting in? And two, what are all the ingredients that you're putting in? It's not just jotting down, I ate some chips at 3:00 in the afternoon. It's, I ate, 50 grams or something like that. I think 50 grams of Kettle sea salt chips. And sometimes the ingredients, it can be kind of long on packaging if you're eating some sort of packaged food. And what I do is I note down the brand. So I know that I can look at the ingredients on their website or whatever. I can look it up again by getting the same product or whatever. And so that's really the essence, is knowing what's coming into your body in quantity and in quality. The second thing that I think I would have done better, and I am doing it now, but what I would have done in the beginning before I started any sort of adjustments or anything like that, is understanding my output. And that means, what is it that you're measuring, and measuring it consistently? What is kind of the outcome you want of your health goal? Now, if that's weight, so you'd write down your kilos, measure it consistently once a week, et cetera, like that. And for me, it was also my skin inflammation. So I had a scale from 0 to 5 on how bad the skin inflammation would happen. And I jotted that down every day. And you can also write down your mood if you're feeling tired and things like that. What is it that you want to, ultimately, what is the output? What is the outcome that you would like? And even to the point where if you are having digestive issues, that you do write out your output as in your poop. And there is a scale for that. It's called the Bristol Stool Scale. So when it comes to gut health stuff, knowing that kind of output and writing down, when it occurs each day and things like that, and the consistency of that, and keeping track of whatever output that is important to you for your health is really important. And we can get kind of not wanting to look at that, again, not wanting to look at what we're putting in, but we also sometimes don't want to look at the output, meaning we don't want to step on the scale. And we don't even, for me, I didn't want to think about my skin. I didn't want to look at it. I want to look to see if, I would kind of have the scale of if I, would itch it enough, scratch it enough, that if I would break the skin and there would be blood and things like that. And so you kind of don't want to look at it. But one of the things is, even before you decide, maybe even on having a goal, before you attach and give it a lot of meaning, is just to start tracking what's going into your body and what's coming out of your body. Because everything is out of your body. It's not just the poop. It's also your skin. It's also cholesterol. It's the output. It's what is it that you want to improve in your health. So even before you start to get into what's your goal, is start there. Start with one, start with the input, start with one output, and see what insight you can get from there. And that'll kind of help direct your journey. And the reason why this works well, and just like with finances and things like that, is you will begin to see patterns. If you did this with your finance, you'd be like, oh, I spent a lot of money on shoes. I spent a lot of money on purses. And that was my thing. I spent a lot of money on purses. And so then I was like, wow, I spent a lot of money on this. So I haven't bought a purse in a really long time. So your brain will want to see patterns. It'll automatically do it. You don't even have to think about it. You'll start to notice it as you keep more and more of this input versus output. And so that's kind of where I wish I would have started when I started a year and a half ago. And I am doing it right now. So I have, a new diary for this year, and I'm measuring the input and the output that I want to see to help kind of alleviate my skin inflammation. And I'm really looking at what's going into my body in terms of even like supplements and things like that, and probiotics, all of those kind of things, is really keeping track of that kind of stuff. So I hope you get started at that from here, and good luck on that journey, and I'll check back with you next week.
Thanks for listening. Listen for a new episode next Tuesday by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Bye for now.